All right, so typically we would have been wrapping up with showbiz to end the news on Joy Prime at this point, but as it turns out, because of the extended conversation we had with the Sex for Great documentary, we're now bringing you business news. And Emmanuel Abadriafe is here with me in the studio. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hey, birthday boy, happy birthday to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Your dinner is on me tonight.
All right, thanks, thanks. All right, you bring us the business news.
Thank you very much, and thanks for joining me on Business Tonight. Trade tension between Nigeria and some of its neighbors is deepening as the federal state still keeps its borders closed since August. The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has described the move by Nigeria as inappropriate, warning of severe implications for local traders. Charles Aite has more in this report.
The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has described the recent closure of Nigeria's border with Benin as a breach of ECOWAS treaties. President of the association, Dr. Joseph Obin, tells Joy Business failure on the part of the Foreign Affairs Ministry as well as the ECOWAS Parliament to put the member state in check is enough evidence that all treaties and protocols under ECOWAS are ineffective.
When lies ECOWAS? ECOWAS is useless, and I beg to say this. I'm telling you, with all the ECOWAS Commission and all that, what are we doing? Because the fundamental issue here is free movement of goods and services, which is being imputed. There's nothing. ECOWAS is all about free movement of goods and services. And one country has closed its borders to all others. And so it nullifies the ECOWAS treaty.
Nigeria's President Buhari had ordered a partial closure of the border to prevent smuggling of cheaper commodities with Benin in August. However, the borders with all other neighboring countries were shut down completely this September. Dr. Joseph Obin argues the issue, if not checked, could hamper the continental free trade area.
These things have to be looked into, not that we rush the whole thing and then fail at the end of the day. So we should be able to even see how we can harmonize our investment laws in the wake of the continental free trade. Because if we are doing this, our investment laws cannot be treated in isolation, apart from the continental free trade area. So there will be contradiction.
The United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNICA, says the importation of some exclusive products and sensitive sectors that some economies like Nigeria have banned will, by the 13th year of the Continental Free Trade Agreement area, completely phase out. So far, the Nigerian government insists there is no end in sight to the partial closure of land borders until the condition of smuggling is checked for the mutual benefit of all neighboring countries.
Now, some stakeholders at the just-ended Graphic Stanbic Business Breakfast meeting are calling on government to strictly adhere to the laws and on fiscal responsibility. This, they believe, will make the country avoid any election excessive expenditures in the quest to fulfill campaign promises. Here's a report from the event, which is supported by Joy Business.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act seeks to cap government's expenditure for every year at about 5% as a measure to reduce budget overruns, especially during election years. This edition of the Graphic Stanbic Business Breakfast meeting focused on public expenditure during the election year and the fiscal responsibility lessons for the country. This is aimed at providing a platform for the private sector to suggest some solutions to the election year spending menace. Economist Professor Seisibe, speaking with Joy Business after a presentation, noted that the passage of a law alone cannot guarantee financial discipline if government fails to implement the key components of the law, which involve reducing government expenditure.
Fiscal rule or a policy is one thing, and the act itself or the adherence to that policy is another thing. And therefore, well, we have done well, the government has done well to roll out the Fiscal Responsibility Act that tied the hand of government not to exceed 5% of fiscal of GDP. That is good, but that does not mean that you automatically meet it. It will require strict adherence to it. It will mean that even when your revenue is not performing, you need to cut your expenditure to match it. If you are not able to do that, you will begin to have a situation where you spend, you are just focusing on the expenditure side because you need to deliver, you need to conduct or do infrastructure projects and all of that.
Chief Executive of Stanbic Bank, Alhassan Andani, on his part, believes more accountability must be sought from the Finance Minister if public spending is not going on as planned.
The law is there, and whoever is given the responsibility should act firmly within the law. It should act firmly within the law. And I think the point the panelists made is about the political will. Because at the end of the day, the people giving this responsibility are politicians, but the nation is above everybody else. And even the political party would like to see a developed nation. So if I'm given a responsibility to police the fiscal responsibility, I will do just exactly that, knowing that I'm serving the greater good. People must always, we shouldn't allow political overreach. There's a lot of political overreach. Politicians just come to seek a job from us, and we should measure them on how well they're doing their jobs. But the electorate who are suffering the pangs of underdevelopment tend to also now then condone and to argue about things that they should not be arguing about.
The breakfast meeting is jointly organized by Graphic Business and Stanbic Bank with support from Joy Business.
A CEO of the Volta River Authority, Engineer Emmanuel Entwi-Dakwa, says the company is embarking on projects to explore Ghana's renewable energy sector. Key amongst them is the completion of the stalled 150 megawatts wind power plant in the Keta municipality. The project, the first of its kind, is part of VRA's Renewable Energy Development Program started in 2016. Engineer Entwi-Dakwa made this known at the ongoing Renewable Energy Fair at the Accra International Conference Center. Here's a report by Philip Ankra.
Renewable energy is energy that is collected from renewable resources such as sunlight, wind, rain, tides, waves, and geothermal heat. Ghana in February this year outdoored a renewable energy master plan that constitutes an investment-focused framework for the development and promotion of the country's rich renewable energy resources to propel economic growth, improve social life, and reduce climate change effects. When implemented, the plan is expected to help the country achieve some targets by 2030. These include increased penetration of renewable energy in the national energy mix from 2015 baseline of 42.5 megawatts to 1,363.63 megawatts. According to the CEO of the Volta River Authority, Engineer Emmanuel Entwi-Dakwa, Ghanaians must embrace this technology.
Mr. Chairman, we look forward to developing Ghana's first large-scale wind power project. It is our anticipation that we would successfully complete the 150 megawatt wind project, which has been on the drawing board for a while. These projects are to be located in the Keta and Adam municipalities in the short to medium term. That's when we want to implement them. We also intend to start next year a pilot floating solar project on the Pong Hydroelectric Dam head pond at Akuse to test the feasibility and adequacy of the operation of this technology in Ghana.
Time now for our local wrap. Cyber attacks likely to rise as Ghana loses $77 million to cybercrime. Details next.
Power distributors PDS say they have fixed the challenges that made it impossible for some consumers to purchase power during the weekend. Consumers took to social media to complain about the difficulty in purchasing power over the weekend. The National Cybersecurity Advisor, Dr. Albert Entwi-Buesiako, has cautioned that cyber attacks will escalate in the years to come, given the increase in internet penetration and the massive reliance on ICT devices for transactions. With just 3 months to the end of the year, Dr. Entwi-Buesiako revealed Ghana had already lost some $77 million to cybersecurity crime. The Chief Executive Officer of the Volta River Authority, VRA, Mr. Emmanuel Entwi-Dakwa, has suggested the use of mini-grids as means of connecting the remaining 15% of Ghanaians living in the island and lakeside communities who do not have access to electricity due to physical and infrastructure challenges. The 2018 Energy Personality of the Year male category of the Ghana Energy Awards told the Daily Graphic that connecting these small communities to the national grid had no economic justification since consumption was likely to be low.
And that's all in business tonight. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Follow more business news. Log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good evening.